Peace, family. Peace, 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 peace. All right, so I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. If not, do understand and get, once you change your perception, everything is going to change, okay? And so today's video is just do the work, okay? All right, if you are new to my channel, my name is Dina Bryant. I do these inspirational videos just talking about belief systems, talking about things I've been through, going through, grew through, talking about the universe, universal law, talking about all that, okay? So listen, I wanted to come on here to give somebody some inspiration, okay? Let me tell you something. A few minutes ago, I was just in a bed, right? Now, I tell you guys all the time, we all have choices. We have the ability to keep doing the thing that seems familiar and keep on telling that story over and over, or we have the ability to do something different. So as I'm lying in a bed, I'm listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza. So if you know Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about quantum physics. He talks about healing people, how people have healed themselves from whether it was blindness and, you know, all these different things. And so as I'm listening to him, right, I decide, you know what, I have the ability to do what feels familiar, okay, or I have the ability to get up and challenge myself. And so I chose to get up and challenge myself. The key thing about life is awareness, because whenever we are aware of the things that we constantly doing, we can change. So the challenge went something like this. Before I talk about the challenge, one of the things that Dr. Joe Dispenza has said was creating new brain cells. Now, I remember I had heard Bob Proctor, the late great Bob Proctor, talk about creating new brain cells. And I said, create new brain cells, right? Because when we hear creating new brain cells, we think of reading a book. We think of, you know, being in school or whatever it is. And or actuality, creating new brain cells means you are doing something different that you have never done before, right? Education is not, it does not mean what we think. Actually, it means educo. It means to bring bring whatever you have within, bring out, right? And it's derived from Latin. So getting back into it, because I'm like, ooh, okay. So the idea was, I said, okay, Dina, get up and we could do some yoga, okay? So yoga, you know, the bed feels very comfortable, okay? But I know if I'm standing in the bed, I'm not doing anything that is creating new brain cells. I'm not doing anything that is challenging. I'm just doing the same exact thing. And that was one of the reasons why I would work out on Facebook. That was some of the reasons why I would create smoothies. I'm always eager about change, always eager about learning something different, right? And so imagine this, I'm in a nice cozy bed, right? Warm bed, got the bonnet on, okay? And I'm laying down. The light was on, okay, in the room. And then I said, no, get up. So I got up, I put some shorts on, and I had started doing yoga, okay? And the yoga, it was kind of intense at first, right? And it was a part of me that was like, girl, just throw in the damn towel. Girl, you ain't got to do this. You could go lay back in that bed. But it was a part of me that was like, nope. Let me look for the beginner's guide with yoga, okay? And that's the thing with life, right? A lot of times we think that it's supposed to be hard, right? Or we think, oh, well, you know, in order for me to change, I got to take these ginormous steps. No, you don't. Take a step at a time. It's the consistency that's going to pay off, okay? You know you got a project to do, honey. If you keep putting it off, it's going to come once upon a time where so you're going to look back and you're going to say, damn, how I could have been so much further along if I would have just started. You have to take action. You have to start. You have to do the thing that scares you, right? Even me doing yoga, I'm like, you know, and recording myself doing yoga. And I'm like, you know, all these ideas, people gonna say, damn, you doing the poses wrong, all these different things. But it's not about what people think outside of my existence. It's about me challenging myself, okay? It's about me showing up. It's not about me having things all figured out and it being all perfect. No. It's not about any of that. It's about me understanding that I do not have to stay the same and I could change at any given time. And I'm gonna read you guys a quick quote from Do the Work, this book, okay? And this is from Steven Pressfield. And one of the things it says is, a child has no trouble believing the unbelievable, nor does the genius or the madman. It's only you and I with our big brains and our tiny hearts would doubt and overthink and hesitate. Okay? Don't think, act. We can always reverse and revisit once we've acted, but we can accomplish nothing until we act. You have to get started. Even now, like I'm like, damn, how could I do more speaking engagements, right? That's what I'm thinking about, because it's either one or two things, okay? Either we are creating or we are disintegrating, okay? It's either we get worse or we get better. It's no in between. And the more you are holding off and saying, and you, a lot of times we allowing the ego to speak to us, right? The chatter that's in our mind from the committee, from the people who never did anything, but they will always try to protect us from the unknown. And the unknown is something that we need to go through, right? Because that's where faith comes in. Faith doesn't come in from, all right, well, I know exactly how I'm gonna do it, so let me do it. No, because if you know how to do it, it's no growth. If you know how to do the job that you've been doing for 20 years the same exact way, you wake up the same way, you get in the shower every morning, your routine is exactly the same, honey. And as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself. Every morning your routine is the same. You are going to create the same, and it's almost like the hamster on a Ferris wheel, right, or whatever the wheel. But it's like the hamster and the dog that's chasing its tail, trying to figure out whose tail is it, and honey, it's yours. Or you keep on running, keep on doing the same exact thing, and hoping and lucking and praying for better results. Okay, when I had my spiritual awakening, and I really don't care for saying it, but when I became more aware of what I was doing and how my life was going, it was so frustrating. And a lot of times we give so many excuses. I was on this core because I'm constantly investing in myself, right? I'm investing with different people so I could learn about me more, so I could learn about people more. And I remember I was on this core, and it was like a conference core. And it's so funny because before I used to feel like, oh, in order for you to be part of a conference core, you got to be working for a corporate company. Honey, that ain't true. Listen, you invest in your damn self. So anyway, so I remember I was on this core. And the guy who was given, who was over it, his name was Michael Beckworth. And one of the things he wanted to talk to people and ask them, he was asking different people that was on the core, what is it that they know they need to do, but they don't? And I'll never forget, it was this one guy who was saying he need to create a website, but what he do is he tend to look for things around the house to do to distract him, to make him feel like he's doing something. A lot of times we tend to, want to be busy, right? But actually we're not doing anything, right? We're not growing. You're not growing. You're just doing the same exact thing. An activity would, doing something, right? I think it's something like that. But you get what I'm saying. So my whole idea is, honey, get started. This is a great book to get. Do the Work by Steven Pressfield. Okay, it is a phenomenal read. Also, what I also learned is sometimes we want to read all the books and get all the knowledge and stuff like that. I know somebody that is book smart to the fullest. Okay, honey, always read and very intelligent, but isn't growing. Isn't growing. You could read all the books and get all the knowledge, but if you're not applying it, that's where wisdom come in. If you just read and just to read, but you're not doing anything, you're not taking the step out on faith, You doing the same exact thing that your parents used to do. And a lot of times we just so unaware. A lot of times people are so unaware. So even when I do these videos, some comments that I see, people will say, well, that ain't everybody. And I say, well, we all have the ability to change our lives. Have the ability to change our life. None of us have to do the same exact thing each and every day. We all have choices. And that's where free will comes in. We all have choices. If you want something different, honey, you got to do something different. If I'm telling myself this story, right? And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to start my YouTube channel when I have it all figured out. It'll never be all figured out. You just start going, you get started, and then as you get started, you get different ideas. But it'll never be all figured out. If I say, well, I'm going to start my YouTube channel once I manifest this big 8-bedroom home that I own. No, I'm going to talk to you guys exactly about my belief. I'm going to talk to you guys about me taking massive action. I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the things that tend to show up and I still push through. That's what it's about. What you have to understand is the universe is going to give you exactly what you are. If you feel you worthy, you're not going to wait until you get the house and a car and stuff like that. Because you got to understand you was created worthy. Okay? You came here worthy. All right? You don't have to do all this extra stuff to prove your worth. I had a passenger one day, and this is the last story. I had a passenger, okay? I was doing Uber, and I remember this passenger, he had got in my car, and he was coming from like a corporate building. And I remember at that time, I was listening to, Jordan Peterson, right? And at the time, I didn't know who I was listening to. But the passenger, he got in the car and he asked me who was I listening to, and it was on YouTube, and so I pressed it and I said, oh, Jordan Peterson. And he told me about Brene Brown, and he said, have you ever listened to her? And I said, no. And, Dad let me know that he was into personal development himself. And so me and him began talking, and one of the things he told me was that he was on his way to invest into his friend's company because they was creating this company with an app, and he was going to invest, right? He was one of the investors. And what he told me was, we began really having a deep conversation. And what he said was that for a long time, and even up until that day, he said he struggled with worthiness. Now, here it is, okay, and just for argument's sake, because I know some people feel as though, it's only us of color that go through worthiness. But no, he was an older white guy, and he was telling me he dealt with worthiness as well. See, what we have to understand is this: once we get past culture, okay, we are generally the same. Okay, once we get past culture. And so, he was telling me his story about how his father would abuse him when he was younger. And I could relate to the worthiness, of his story. And if you want change, you have to do something different. See, the reason why people tend not to feel worthy is because of the conversation from the ego, the conversation from your childhood. You being told you never was enough. You being told, oh, if you do X, Y, and Z, then I'ma love you more, right? And sometimes not even being told, verbatimly, like, oh, if you do X, Y, and Z, I'ma love you more. You just see, how your parents treat you. And even myself, right? Like with my children, at times I notice, like I'm treating them better when they do things. And it's all about awareness. And that's why I say all the time, it's not about you, being upset with the person who created or passed the programming down to you, because in some cases you may be practicing the same exact program. It's about being aware. Being aware, whatever you're aware of, honey, you can change. And with that being said, I hope you guys got something from this. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I love you guys. Drop in the comments. I love when you guys give me feedback. I love it. I love when you guys give me your point of view and let me know how you see things, and because it's all about perception. Okay, and with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.